Okay, so welcome to the second day of the support call for you all here, just offering you a little bit of support, so you can carry on doing the amazing work that you're doing. And we were just talking just before I've hit record about people not really responding to things. So off the back of yesterday's support, Penny's sent out an email to her clients to reach out and offer them some support tomorrow. But we were just talking, weren't we, about the fact that no one's registered for it. And my feeling is that people are seeing things, but they are kind of a little bit overwhelmed with everything. So obviously registering for something means that people can get the recordings if we're recording it, which is why I've done a registration. But also people are just showing up. So I have just put the Zoom links as well as the registration thing, so people can just click on the Zoom link and join. So that might be something that you want to do in a reminder tomorrow, Penny, is that if they haven't registered, they can just connect and just straight via the Zoom link.
Right. Well, actually, what's interesting is I'm trying a different platform, not Zoom. So it's something called the Webinar Ninja, which is I did a bit of research to see what were the best recommended webinar platforms, and actually Zoom came 10th.
Oh, right, interesting.
and Webinar Ninja came second. So in the first one I tried it, I didn't really like it. So that was a platform called Demio. So that's I don't know if anyone is also doing this research, they could check that out. But Webinar Ninja is very good, supposedly, for creating webinars that are much more for things that you can record and replay and reissue to people, rather than a Zoom type sort of meeting where people are gathering. But I will also try the Zoom platform and sort of see whether that is going to be a better one for I feel I've been using Zoom one-to-ones for some of my one-to-one clients, but it would be nice to try something different that's it's got a little bit more sort of it's more, apparently Webinar Ninja is better for marketing your services. So that if you want to get better known in fields that perhaps you're not known for, that's a platform that you might look at.
Okay, great, thank you. And I think there are going to be new and better ways of that are going to come out very shortly in terms of getting online and connecting with people online as well. So I think we're going to see a real influx of different platforms that do things in different ways. So it is worth, now that we are being forced to really do all of our work online one way or another, that we look and keep up an eye on these new things that are going to come out of this. That I really feel we'll start to, in the next few weeks, we'll start to see. So yeah, great, thanks for that, Penny, that's really great. So
yeah, I just think that's the thing that we could share, some of the things that we are trialing or some things that we are researching. It's kind of useful.
Yeah, really. Because there's only certain things that we're all kind of using, but if other people have got other things, then it's really, really helpful to share, and people can do that in the Facebook group if there's certain things. I think what I'll do is I'll put a post up to say, is there anything that people are using? Yourself a note. I'll put that in the Facebook group, and then people can go to that. And if you're watching this as a recording and you're not in the Facebook group, it's Soul Inspired Leaders, so come and join us there. So I just thought I'd really start with a little bit of a meditation again, just to really ground us and really connect with our Akashic record, and to really open up a connection and a channel to start aligning a little bit more to abundance, and creating a bit more light. So if we do that, so just getting a comfortable position. I'll just put you on mute, and then we can, and then I'll unmute you when we're finished. So just bring yourself into a nice comfortable seated position, or wherever you are, just being really comfortable. Perhaps moving the shoulders a little bit, relaxing the shoulders. Just allowing the tension to, we're all feeling a little bit. And taking a couple of breaths just to bring yourself into the body. Just bring your energy into the body. A deep breath in and a release. And another breath in and release. And another breath in and release. Just allow your breathing to find its own natural flow and its own natural rhythm now. Just bringing yourself very much into the present moment where you're sitting, your hands gently resting by your side or on your lap. And knowing that in this space that we are still fully connected to all universal resources. We're not cut off from any of that. We are always connected. We always have these universal resources available to us. We just need to simply align to it, connect to it, intend that we want to connect to it. So just bringing that intention into the space now, that your energy is expanding as you breathe to connect with universal source. And connect with your Akashic record. So just allowing yourself now for a moment for your energy to expand out into the universe, out through the room where you're sitting, filling more and more space as you breathe, going upwards and outwards into the sky, beyond the atmosphere, just allowing your intention to expand your energy upwards and outwards while you still remain firmly grounded in your body. The energy going up into the universal realms, into the fifth dimension. And before you, perhaps you can now see a doorway, a portalway that is an entranceway into the Akashic record, into your personal Akashic record. And the doorway just opens easily and simply. Just open at your will. And beyond it are all your Akashic guides, masters, all the energetic realms that are there supporting you through everyday life, that are always supporting you. So staying connected to where you're sitting in the room, just being aware of this open doorway, that you're opening a channel, an energetic channel, an energetic doorway that is allowing you to receive information about what you need to do next, what you want to do next. And this information will come to you over the coming days. There's no rush. There's no urgency. There's a really slow unraveling that's going to take place over the coming days and the coming weeks. But that knowing that you are connected to this source of information, this source of wisdom, this source of knowledge that you are always connected to, that is all part of you. So bringing that connection with you, that information, that energy back to the room now where we come back together and we'll just have a connection with each other, whether you're with me live or whether you're watching this as a recording. Everything is always connected. Nothing is separate. So just taking a couple of breaths now, just to bring yourself back to the space. Knowing that you always have access to this information, this higher knowledge, your higher wisdom, which will be different for every single one of us on our path going forwards. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel where you're sitting in the chair, wherever you are laying perhaps. And when you feel ready, just opening your eyes and coming back fully present to the space. I've just unmuted you.
Thank you. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are always connected to higher source, our higher source, and our innate wisdom and intelligence. We always have the answers. We just need to connect to that through intention and allowing.
Yes, I was saying that, the wisdom is there. It's often just allowing the quiet space to actually receive it. That's always the challenge. And I was struck today, my husband and I went for a walk around lunchtime, and how quiet everything was. And in some respects, there's a lot of quiet at the moment. So we could kind of hear more of whatever our higher wisdom wants us to know.
Yeah. And really trusting that. I think that's what comes up for me as you're saying that, is really trusting that inner wisdom is coming to us, and that we can, that it's there for us to listen to. We can choose to listen to it or not. That's our choice. But where we listen to it, we can have a really profound effect on, what we're able to do, and what we can do next as a small step.
Right.
Which is really important. And one of the most powerful questions that I kind of work with is, what do I choose to do right now? And in that moment of giving myself that space of asking that question, I very often get an insight. I often very, very often get just a piece of information like, oh, okay. And then it slowly unravels from there. So that can be a really powerful question, to bring ourselves into the present moment and just open that channel, because it is instant and instantaneous. We don't have to sit there and meditate for an hour and wait for it. It's
right.
It's on tap. And so the more often we can tap into that and ask ourselves that question, or a question similar to that, like, what do I choose to do right now as my next step? And it becomes a choice. And we can choose to listen to it, or we can choose not to. The more powerful thing would be to choose to listen to it, but it's okay, sometimes we don't, and that's all right too.
Yeah, it strikes me, I could actually start a video. Do you want to see me? It's like, it feels like it, as there's only two of us.
Share that when you're talking about people.
It just struck me, as there's only two of us, it might be
it will go out to the
although I don't look that great, because my face is swollen. Because of the can't you? Okay, no. Well, don't worry, that's okay then.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, so just coming back and really, creating that choice for ourselves, because doing nothing is also a choice. We can sit in this space and go, well, there's no opportunity now. No one's got any money. No one wants to do anything. Everyone feels disconnected, isolated, and, in lockdown. And so we can choose then to do nothing with that. But I feel that that's not the right action. But what's come up with several conversations with clients over the last couple of days, and saying to you, Penny, before we started recording, I've been really, really busy the last couple of days, and what we don't want to do is overwhelm people.
Sure.
I think this is, I think I touched on it yesterday, but I just wanted to bring this up again. People are overwhelmed with the information changing every day. People are overwhelmed with what they can do, what they need to do, what they feel is out of their choice. and what they can't do. So this is a really important time not to overwhelm people. There are a lot of people out there, especially on social media, who are going, oh, buy this, this for free, or this for, really low cost. They're slashing their prices. And it's just, it's too loud and it's too noisy. And I feel there's a real incongruence with that. It's about really consolidating and refining and taking time. I was just talking to a client about that before. There's no urgency, there's no massive rush. This is a time for us really to not go into overwhelm ourselves. We need to stay in alignment with ourselves so that we can then support people from that place. Doesn't mean to say we won't feel overwhelmed. We won't feel, all of those feelings, but we don't have to react in that way. We don't have to respond in that way, feeling that there's an urgency to get out there.
Yeah, I think that's very wise. I mean, one of the things that struck me this morning, I was doing a little bit of a meditation, is that I got the message that it's time now to nurture myself. And, that's a message that I do give myself that message quite a lot, but it feels like I've got to extra do that nurturing, because for whatever reason I've got this sort of a feeling of illness that's coming through this infection of my sinuses and everything, and that was strange. I had to call my dentist yesterday because I thought it was a tooth infection I was having, because my tooth was hurting me. But he talked me through and he diagnosed over the phone that actually it was a sinus infection, and prescribed some what's the word? So some infection, anti-inflammatories, and also antibiotics actually. So I'm on those at the moment, but I definitely got the message that now is the time I've got to nurture myself. And it's probably true that in the face of overwhelm, people need to be nurturing and be a bit more kind to themselves and to their families, really.
I think, and to self, and if we're kind to ourselves, we're kind to our families, actually. So it starts with self.
Yeah.
This is the whole purpose of this, what's going on right now. It's giving us this opportunity to slow down. So, by overwhelming people with our stuff is not the answer, but keeping doing something is also going to help us to feel like we are, heading in a direction. And so this is really about, slimlining and streamlining and focusing on one or two things that we can do, to keep our businesses going, to keep ourselves going, to give ourselves a sense of purpose, while in the rest of that space, it's about nurturing ourselves and slowing down.
Yeah.
More is not better. This is what society has been, drumming into us for such a long time. And, it's been, for me, it's been a very slow unwinding of that, unlearning all of that. And so I feel very grateful that I'm in this place where I can do slow, that fast doesn't work for me anymore at all. And I know that I'm so much more capable when when I go slow. That actually I get
it does feel very strange. It does feel strange though to kind of not have the kind of schedule and not have the appointments in the diary that one may have been expecting to have, and the awareness that all one's clients are doing something very, very different to where they were last time you spoke to them. That's quite strange experience.
Because it's literally been an overnight thing, so it's getting used to that shift that's happened, that we've been forced into very, very, very quickly.
Mm.
And it's coming back to trust, actually. Something that you just said really triggered that for me. It was like coming back to trusting that we will be okay, that we
Mm.
need to figure out, these are new and different ways we're going to have to learn how to do, but that just means it's an opportunity for us to do things in a new and different way. And so being open to that and trusting that when we open this channel, that we will get the information that will support us in doing things in a new and different way.
Right. Indeed.
Because the old ways no longer work.
No, well, they're not enabled to work anymore. No, that's right. And there's a sense that actually, you know, the world could be very different when we get back to normal, as they say. You know, that people will have gone on a journey that has taken them into new lines of thinking and new ways of being, that they can't necessarily go back to the old way.
Yeah.
In a you know, without remembering that.
Yeah. And that's the shift that needs, you know, if as far as I'm concerned, needs to happen. And we've been forced into that. We've been doing it too slowly up until now. You know, people are recognizing it, but everything else was kind of bombarding people to not allow it to really connect with it. And now this is our opportunity to really, really do it. So it's a time to do things in a much slower paced way, that we feel like we're still moving forward, because we're still human and we still need to feel like we have purpose, and we still need to feel like we are moving in a direction. And that's through action, that's through doing something. That's what creates the results. So we need to tweak and we need to refine and we need to course correct a little bit along the way, because it's a learning journey for all of us, myself included. I need to navigate how I'm going to do things differently.
Yeah, right. I mean, one of the things that my husband and I were talking about on this walk was, you know, there's our house. There's all sorts of little jobs that we have never got around to doing, and we think, well, actually, if we sat down to actually write a list, there's probably, you know, quite a number of things that, you know, large and small, that actually we can address in this time, which I don't know, just made me think, well, actually, sometimes the universe is helping us create a different platform for being able to operate in a different way. And I think, you know, doing these small and large jobs can clear the decks and create a different foundation for us being able to be different later on.
Absolutely. And because I always talk in energy, it also clears the energy. We shift the energy of our home by letting go of the old, even if it's just, you know, the paint, you know, the old paintwork, and just, you know, brightening it up. We're letting go of the old energy and inviting a new and different energy in. So even those small little things that we tweak about the home, tidying up, getting rid of old paperwork, you know, moving some pictures or putting some pictures up, we shift the energy in that space massively.
Yeah, well, I was talking about sort of getting rid of the dirt on our paths. You know, rather basic things, you know, clearing up dirt and dust, and you know, cleaning up one's car, and, you know, rather fundamental basic stuff that maybe we don't always do as frequently as possible. It's like it feels like it's. I saw this man, actually, he was water blasting his garage door, which was green and yellow with stuff, and it's like he was clearing it up as we walked past, and it felt like, okay, so there you go, that's a good thing to be doing. At a time when you have to be at home, when you can't be working, or you can't be working all the time. So it's quite a nice thing to be doing when you're out. You can be outside and to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're going to connect with our things very, very differently, our environment, our space. And so this is an opportunity to do that. You know, I'm quite lucky, because you know, I work here in this space anyway every day. So I have everything already set up and ready to go in that. But, you know, there's an
Mm.
opportunity to shift things around a bit and create a new and different environment for ourselves. So yeah, so that's something we can do. And something else that I really wanted to share with people was about how we can go back to people that we have worked with in the past that we're maybe not working or haven't been working with currently, and also connecting with them about how we can support them, and putting perhaps something together, because when we've worked with clients and people in the past, or customers, or you know, we know kind of a little bit about what they may need, so we could put together something. And again, something very simple, something that doesn't take us a lot of time, a lot of effort to put together, and nothing that undervalues ourselves. This is really important as well. We touched on that yesterday. You know, nothing that undervalues, but just adding value. So if it's like, I don't know, 3 sessions, adding something that, you know, in addition to that, that could be a little bonus or something around those lines. And, you know, picking up the phone and calling them, leaving them a voice message. I feel that people want to hear people's voices, not just an email, not just a text message. Just picking up the phone and saying, you know, obviously challenging times, been thinking about how I can support people I've worked with in the past. Is there anything that you need? I've been talking to another client, and this is something they felt might help them. You know, you are invited to do something similar, but if there's something else you need, then please let me know, and I'll follow this up in an email to put it down, and I'll call you in a couple of days just to see if you've got any questions about it. So that's
a good idea.
You know, again, it's about supporting them. This is not about making an opportunity to make money. I really want to stress that, because that's the wrong way to come about it. This is about how can we support people, but also keep ourselves going and keep our businesses going.
Yeah.
And this is not about going into overwhelm. This is not about going into the hard sell, panic selling. Really, really not. I really want to stress that. This is done from a space of love, but also I want to carry on working. My work is who I am. So if I don't get out there to ask people how I can support them, that impacts me.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't nurture me. So it's very much about you know, coming together. What can we do? How can I support you? Also, you know, it's very real. How can I keep my business going? How can I keep doing what I love? For me, making an impact in the world is so important. And all the people that I work with are making a massive difference in the world. So if I can't approach them to say, how can I keep you going, keep you supported, I'm doing everything a disservice.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think, as I said, that I've done some of that already, made some calls, and not one or two have called back, which is great, and others haven't responded. So one always feels disheartened by the ones that don't respond.
Yeah.
So one has to sort of keep oneself going through that. Through that poor response period, and knowing that you're still of value and still offering something of value that people will be needing.
So, and my feeling is as well that generally for one touch point, people don't get back to you because they have got lots of other things going on. They will have a response to that. So following that up with an email, just saying, I left you a message, this is what I wanted, and I'll call you again next week. Hopefully things will, you know, because I really want to support you. And again, it's from the space from which this is coming. So it can feel very pushy when people are pushing, but it can also be very, very loving and very, very nurturing when it comes from a space of love.
Yeah.
And I know that when I've had people who have worked with me have just been like, hey, how are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, great. Oh, lovely to hear from them. Got distracted, and then they've come back again. I've been like, oh, thank goodness they really do care. You know, I will get back to them now. So there is,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
silence doesn't mean that there's no connection. We interpret that.
Yeah.
But that's not always the case. It is sometimes, and that's okay too. That's okay.
Indeed. Yeah.
So I if you haven't already, you know, and if people are watching, then, you know, do please reach out to people again.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
Tasha, yeah. How have you found, you know, keeping people to their timelines and to their appointments with you? Have you found that easy? Have you found it hard?
Found it
What's
really
the
easy.
situation?
So,
Really?
yeah, so people who've had appointments booked in last week and this week, I have given them the option, because some of those were online anyway. So I haven't had anybody cancel this week, because I feel that they've obviously had that booked in and they've needed the support. Obviously, if they're not well, then that would be a different scenario. But people who were coming due to come face to face, I just gave them the option, said, look, we can do it by Zoom. They're clients I know well, so I know that they would be okay with that. If it was a newish client, I might give them the option to postpone, but actually postponing is not going to be helpful for them, because they
sure.
need it now.
Well, exactly. You know, this is what I'm aware of, that actually this is the time when they really need me and us. So, you know, why are they saying, oh, it's too much, I can't quite handle it, and you know, let's reconvene when when this is all over, you know, and this is all over could be 3 months time, you know. So that's not helpful,
My
really.
feeling and my sense is that when this week is over, when people are suddenly realizing, you know, those are the people that were going to work still last week. This week is like a transition phase. It's like, I've got to put systems in place when they're not used to it. My feeling is that by the end of next week, especially if we are going into a 3 months period where businesses can't be open, by the end of next week, people will be willing and open to that resource again. So this is where it's like going slow, not overwhelming people, but just those little touch points. It's like, I'm here. Don't forget I'm here, because it will come to a point where they get that sense of, okay, I've got everything in place now. And then they get a little bit of space back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good sensitivity, actually. I think that's good awareness, because, you know, some of my clients this week was the first week, big adjustments to make. Oh, sorry, my internet connection is unstable, so I'm getting the message.
Yeah. So again,
this week.
Go on.
No, I was just saying that this week has been very different for everyone who's working at home when their children are at home as well.
Yeah.
Having to adjust to that and to the needs of that scenario.
Yeah, exactly. You know, people are still working full time and homeschooling. I mean, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know? It's like, oh my goodness. So people will, but again, it's just because when they need that help, if you've had a couple of touch points with them, you're the first person that they're going to think of when they think, right now, I really need some help.
Yeah, excellent.
Staying in that space of trust, and I know especially now it's not easy, but staying in that pace, that slowing down pace, simplifying one or two things, touch points with people. You know, a client who I spoke to earlier, I was saying to him, you know, write down all the people that you've worked with in the past, you know, and cross off the ones that you don't want to work with again, but, you know, write them all down. There are sometimes a couple of those, right, if we're all being honest. you know, so it's and just reach out to them. It might be that you worked with them 2 or 3 years ago, but if you know, if you,
Yeah.
it's about just creating that touch point. So when they're ready, because now is the time also to be creating content.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a little.
Well, exactly. And this is why I'm thinking, you know, I'm trialing out this new webinar platform, and you know, trialing out some things that maybe I can put some content in place, you know, with webinars that can then, you know, be distributed, you know, by this platform, and get it out there.
Yeah. So are you a member of the Soul Inspired Leaders Facebook group, Penny?
I've just realised that when you were talking earlier, I don't think I am.
Okay.
I think I just responded to your personal email to me, so that's why I came. So I'll join after this call.
Yeah,
Actually,
and do share that, and I will actually post something and ask what are people doing that's really helped them, and to please share it with the community.
well, I'll give you a report afterwards, because tomorrow I'm trialing it for the first time at 3 o'clock. Do I have permission to put my link on your on the group?
Yeah,
if
please
people want to come and trial the new webinar platform from the user's point of view, and give me some feedback and see if it's useful for you and their people and their content. Can I ask you who your primary clients are, Natasha? Who are the soul leaders?
Oh, right. So it's conscious.
Well, you know that I am. Is what?
Conscious business owners, so people who want to have businesses that want to have a bigger impact in the world. So through the work that they're doing, they want to you know, create this wave of change in the planet. So either environmental, nature, planetary, or consciousness, social.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, you know me, I'm definitely in there.
Yeah. For sure.
Great. Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I haven't got any questions there. So,
well, thanks for joining.
You have to ask. You can have to ask your group for their questions that you can answer on the webinar.
Yes.
People aren't coming.
Yeah. I think people are not. Again, I think with Facebook and stuff, are a little bit overwhelmed and not responding to that. And I think also Facebook are not for some reason reaching everybody. So I think in my group, after an hour of me posting, I only reached 10 people, which is nothing. So
amazing. Yeah, right.
Something's going on there as well.
Sure.
So we will see. It's all going to be things are going to change. Algorithms on Facebook are probably going to change dramatically.
Yeah, right.
So we'll just have to ride that wave and see how that goes as well. But I will post. I'll post something.
Thank you very, very much, Natasha. Thank you. That was it was nice to sort of again to join you and know that I was joining you today.
Yeah, lovely. Always appreciated. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Bye for now. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.